I'm Nicole Hummel, and I did my project on sex tourism.
So she wanted to influence people so that they were aware of the consequences of sex trafficking and what their consumerism might have to do with that when they're on vacation and engaging in sex tourism.
And basically what I decided would be the best way of targeting an audience for this project was by looking at the tourists that are actually traveling to these countries and targeting them so that they would be more aware of the issues and know why not to participate in it. And what I did was I contacted various travel agencies in the area and gave them flyers.
She made a passport and a presentation just generally about sex tourism in the world and different hotspots like Thailand and places like that where Western male travelers are going to have sex with sort of exotic commodified women, and how this perpetuates the commodification of women and how it really represents sort of an imperialistic and patriarchal mentality that can be seen worldwide.
But what I did my research on was how the implications of sex tourism, the potential risks and consequences that it could generate. And so here are the health risks. Obviously STDs can be a huge problem in any form of prostitution because it's people traveling around and participating in sex.
And then when she went to Brazil, she did a case study of Brazil. What she did with the project was explore why are women systematically viewed in this way? Why are they represented in this way? Why are they marginalized and oppressed as objects, as sex objects essentially? Women being sold, like trafficked maybe, being put into like this kind of work, like sex work at a very young age, kind of losing sort of freedom, becoming reliant on the money that they get from sex tourism, which isn't an inherently empowering form of work. So it was raising awareness on this, and we think red light districts, but we don't necessarily think about, like, for example, like we don't think about our role in it, our imperialistic role in it. So just kind of looking at the whole problem and the systems of patriarchy and imperialism and raising awareness about that. And it's not something that just happened. It's not something that like, oh, incidentally there's a huge red light district with lots of young women that people go to. It's like, well, it's a very complicated system where people who travel there reinforce it, and people who don't speak out against it reinforce it also.
After she left the class, she carried the idea of this project further and doing some studies of the origins of the slave trade and made some connections between the slave trade and that kind of objectification of women and the sex trade that's kind of the 21st century equivalent. And so she not only did that research in country in Brazil, but did it in Portuguese and wrote a really amazing thesis. She came back to USC and submitted all of that work to get a grant to go to grad school, and so she won a grant from USC for $10,000 that she can use anywhere to pursue graduate studies. So it was really an amazing evolution of her project into other disciplines and into furthering her education. So Nicole's project is a wonderful example of how you can sort of dip your toe in the water and just get a little bit of an experience with activism, and you don't know where it's going to take you next. And in her case, it really grew into something that she was very passionate about and that took on a lot of extra dimensions in other disciplines and into the future.